It's alive, I guess. The Living Church of God, Part 1. Real quick history lesson. There was this church, founded by this really happy guy. He died. This one broke off. It was founded by this guy who looks like he just heard a really good joke. Or heard that Christmas was canceled. Or who thought one day, maybe I should start a cult. For some reason or another, the board kicked him out. So he started another one in 1998. Today, it is one of the largest breakoffs of the original, with an estimated 11,000 members. So that's about half the size of this, 4 times the size of this, and something like 8 or 9 times the size of this, and something like 1/12 the original size of this. In 2016, this guy stepped down, and he was succeeded by Gerald Weston. The Living Church of God, Part 2. Remember that The World Tomorrow was the WCG's main television broadcast, and this is the LCG version. This show often went into end times prophecy. I wonder what they do. Let's take a look at some of their titles on YouTube. Christmas is pagan.
The Mark of the Beast revealed.
What is
Armageddon?
Decoding the beast and its mark.
Reality of Armageddon. Exposing the attack on societal norms.
This is just a light selection. There's also a video on how their church is right and yours is probably wrong, with 5 tips to check yourself. Number 3 is the one of most important note. The church teaches and practices the law. Apparently, Christ really wants a very legalistic church. The Living Church of God, Part 3. The LCG received a lot of unwanted media attention in 2005. This man, Terry Ratzman, who was known for giving his neighbors his homegrown vegetables, heard something at church in February of that year that made him irate. No one knows exactly what it was, but he also lost his job around the same time. The congregation he attended met in a Sheraton located in Brookfield, Wisconsin. On March 11th, 2005, he entered and shut up the congregation. Around 60 people were in attendance. The minister, as well as his son, were among the people who died. The minister's son was 16 years old, and there was even a 10-year-old girl that was injured. Again, no one really knows what caused this man to do this, but the LCG came under a lot of backlash for its teachings. Regardless of why it happened, there is no doubt that this was an absolute tragedy. May it never happen again. The Living Church of God, Part 4. Well, this guy looks like a really happy guy. He must be such a nice man. Something like 40 years before he started this wonderful version of a cult, he was a writer for the Plain Truth magazine. Let's take a look at an article he wrote.
Oh! Oh! They walk among us! Oh! Oh dear. Oh golly.
So y'all need to hide your kids, hide your wife, and...
They bring all the mental problem.
He really goes really far.
Like that.
A wretched, perverted it. And he even said it wasn't just the act, it was even leaning that direction. Hey, Roddy, I'm gay. The Living Church of God, Part 5. So, I've been snooping, and I happened to come across something rather interesting. This is the French version of Tomorrow's World. Basically, they interpret all their content. Nothing really natively French. But I was intrigued and I decided to look around. Oh, and for future reference, yes, I speak French. The English version has well over 200,000 subscribers. The French version has 53. And the Spanish version? Almost 500,000. They have a lot of channels. Some with a lot of subscribers, and some with not so many. But they have, by far, the largest YouTube presence. Only this guy's channel is comparable in the English version. But I just have to say, this video in the French version, it's in Canadian French. Nothing wrong with that, but funny. The Living Church of God, Part 6. I ended the last video by saying that the French version of Tomorrow's World really doesn't have that much native material. They do have tweaks, though. The English version of this video is presented by this guy. French version pretty much has the same content, but it actually is presented by a native speaker.
Bon lieu de Grande-Bretagne, avec seulement 16 991.
Anyway, it's presented by this guy, who has a really cute Canadian accent.
Parce que la France est la cible du terrorisme.
I mean, he just said France is the target of terrorism, but I couldn't help but chuckle. It's cute, I'm sorry. Anyway, back in the English world. With the LCG being a doomsday cult, it's only par for the course that they talk about some really intense stuff. But they make it look happy.
The King of the South, and much more that you can prove for yourself from the Bible.
The Living Church of God, Part 7. Gerald Weston is the current head honcho. He has somewhat of an online presence in both Tomorrow's World and the LCG main YouTube channels. He definitely has a thing for prophesying. He also went video crazy during the Great Panorama. But his sermons have a nice little flair to them. Let's see how he addresses joy.
He wants us to serve, but to serve with joy. Rejoice in that day and leap for joy. When we keep the law, that brings about happiness.
I can't be happier. Did you notice how he actually said that keeping the law makes you happy? Well, they also have videos on how to make sure you keep the law, because that is the sign of true joy. But I know what you want. More prophecy charts. It never ends.